Hello, everybody. It's me, Dave. I'm no one famous.
This is Ed with Dave. I'm also no one famous.
Me and Ed spoke last week. It's been a while. I'm looking forward to doing this update with Ed. I went to the game Monday night. It was an incredible experience. I don't want to say too much about what I experienced. It was in my other podcast, but I just have to get Eddie's opinion on what happened Monday night. It was an incredible, crazy, up and down scene. Ed, what are your whole reaction, opinions about this whole thing?
Well, I'm still a little numb from the whole game, Dave, to tell you the truth. But I was, as we talked about last week, I was so nervous. I was so excited. Being a Jet fan for a long time, as we mentioned last week, I really thought this was going to be a special year. I'm not saying it's not going to be a special year, but watching Aaron Rodgers come in with the American flag, it was 9/11, the whole team on when he was coming in on the side of him, the excitement, and then four offensive plays into it, it was like every emotion I had as a Jet fan just came through me again. It was like when he first got hit. It was funny when he first got hit. I was like, oh, that's not good. But then he got up, and I said, all right, that's good. And then he stood there for a couple of seconds, and then he went back down. And said, that's not good.
It wasn't like he got demolished when he got hit either, so it didn't look like a bad hit.
Wasn't really a tough hit. It wasn't one of those hits where someone gets blindsided. It wasn't like remember Joe Theismann getting hit by Lawrence
Oh
Taylor.
yeah.
It wasn't one of those. It was just
Right.
it was a tough tackle, but I didn't think anything of it at the time. But then it's amazing how much changes Dave as a Jet fan in a couple of days, right?
Yeah, I was just thinking real quick too about hits. When Mike White got hit in the Buffalo game, he got was broken in half. That was a hit also. That was a
That was it. Yes.
you know. Yeah, I mean, the game was just absolutely an experience that could really last me for the entire season. It was just like you said, the emotions were excited with Aaron Rodgers coming out. Then, he got hurt, and then the idea of the fact that there was no way they could possibly win this game now. For them to come back and win it, it was just the place was like out of control, electric.
Tell me a little about that, Dave, because it's funny because I was watching a game every play I watched with my oldest son Zach. We were in the basement watching every game. When they ran back the punt for the touchdown to win the game, we were in the basement screaming, high fiving.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
wife was yelling at me because she was sleeping with my youngest son up there. They were sleeping. That was loud. Tell me a little
yeah.
bit about what that experience in the stadium when that happened.
It was. I'm telling you. I mean, I think I'm over exaggerating, and it seems a little crazy, but it was. I don't know if I ever had that much excitement in my lifetime to scream at the top of my lungs with 80,000 plus people jumping up and down in one place, high fiving. It was just phenomenal. And to leave there with a victory, my son was with me at the time. Instead of a loss, it was just a really satisfying feeling. I mean, it was electric. And like I said, I never experienced that much excitement at a football game my entire life. Usually when you win in overtime, you're setting up for a field goal. You kind of know it's going to be over, but the punt return was just something unexpected. So it was just multiplied by 10. The excitement of the win.
And did the crowd leave right away? I heard like I did what I not
No,
being there. I heard that the crowd
no.
stayed around for a while. Tell me about that.
I was in the 300 section, whatever, I paid for my nosebleed seats, and it was shoulder to shoulder for about 20 minutes to a half an hour to get out of that stadium to get to ground level. It was really, not fun. But we could have sat in the seats for maybe a half an hour to an hour, but we decided to try to leave, and it was just crazy to get out of there. It was insane. But that's what
No,
happens when you go to a football game. It
very
gets
true.
like that. Yeah.
Walking out, what was the buzz around the crowd like? Were they like thinking this isn't a bad injury, he's not coming back, or what? Just
You know
knowing
what?
people you're
I,
there.
that's a great question because the only thing on everybody's mind was that incredible win that they just witnessed. So
Okay.
people were just chanting, and it was just a happy, happy atmosphere. If they would have lost, of course, you would have been it would have been a bit of a downer. But everybody was just so excited about what they just saw that it was just it was pandemonium. It was really great. It was really great. So, and I'm going to try something new here on my this podcast here. I know how to share the screen here, and I have a YouTube video. It's about a 5-minute highlight of the game, showing all the best plays and whatnot. So I'm going to start playing this, and I'll stop at a certain moment, and we'll discuss what happens here. But of course, it's going to start out with the first play of the game. Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback, and Let me just play this through here. And we'll see what happens here.
This was great to see, right? Hall coming back, like, like not missing a step. That was great too, right?
It was. And, I want to say, like I says, just from watching the replay on TV, which is very interesting to me to hear the commentary because I didn't get to, experience that watching the game live. Brees Hall ran the first play for 26 yards. And then Aaron Rodgers attempted to pass 3 times in a row. I don't know why that happened or why they didn't just run the ball again. And who knows? Like I said, he could have got hurt down the road and everything, but that was interesting. But yeah, Brees Hall is definitely back. It's exciting going forward,
Similar to what you said, David, but even like yes, there was a few pass plays, then the terrible play, but then Brees Hall had at one point he had 2 carries for 109 yards, and I was like, just give him the ball, just keep giving him the ball.
I know.
So,
I felt like he wanted to prove something, Aaron Rodgers, and they wanted to get things going quickly, maybe. But let's see where they pick it up here. Let's see. This is later on into the first quarter. Let's see what they're going to show here. The defense was great all night.
Can't say enough for the defense. I mean,
defense was great all night. Back to the Jets on offense. It's got to be Zach Wilson at the helms at this point. Wilson is very good. Like I said, when they make it simple like that for him and there's people wide open, he has time to pass. He has potential.
Yes. I've always been a Zach Wilson guy. I'm not, I still think he could be helpful to this team. And a lot of people are upset. I am upset as well, but I still think that this team with this defense and with the receivers we got and the moves we made and with Brees Hall coming back, that we could still make a deep run in the playoffs.
Yeah. I find it interesting how much we seem to agree on things. I know in the past you're with defense for quite a few years now and Jet fans for a long time. And usually we have some debates about things, but these couple of weeks we've been on the same page with everything. And then knowing what the Jets did with Sanchez, back then we all know that the Jets had a great running game with Sanchez. But the interesting thing was every team knew we were going to run the ball, and we still ran the ball successfully. So if the Jets can do that, I'm not sure if they can with this offensive line. It's going to be interesting,
What do you think? How big do you think Dwayne Brown feels missing that block that ended the? I saw a little bit of that, but watching that replay and seeing him miss that block and how that ended Aaron Rodgers' first career year for the Jets. What'd you think of that, Dave? You think that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it wasn't like he got demolished. Like, I mean, it should have just been a sack. I mean, it's really. The injury was just like a freak injury. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he feels bad, but I mean, who knows what would have happened the rest of the season, with Aaron Rodgers staying upright. Let's just see where this picks up now. We're in the second quarter now. You can see, the defense was just really good.
Just amazing.
And then we have second quarter here, another play. Let's see. And here we go. Look at this.
Yeah, first interception.
I mean, what do Buffalo Bills fans think right now about their quarterback just throwing the ball up there willy-nilly like a Zach Wilson would do,
This first interception, I don't think was that bad because that first interception was almost, I think it was third and long. It was almost like a punt. So that one was almost like the first one, not the rest of them, but the first one was almost like, it's not so bad because it was just as good as a punt at that point. But as you said, it got worse and worse for Josh Allen as the game went on and as the defense.
Yeah, there was one legit pick by Whitehead. The other two were just, like you said, punts were just chucked up in the air. But this is in the second quarter here, and this is going to be, I think, the 80-yard run.
Yes,
handoff has already been made, and here goes Brees Lightning doing his thing here.
Yep,
and this guy's nuts.
That was amazing.
And somebody said to me, I think he did let up at the end because he didn't want to pull something. You can see him slowing down big time.
He could have ran out of gas. I mean, he made some moves.
I don't know if he ran out of gas, or I don't know if he was being cautious. That's a good question, though. Because I don't know. I mean, these guys were in condition. I just think he probably didn't want to pull a hamstring, and maybe he was happy with his 80 yards.
I would be as well if I was.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
an excellent question. Did he pull up a little bit, or did he just run out of gas? And
Yeah, we
there's no
won't know, and
excuse.
I'm sure I don't think he'll ever admit like, oh, I wanted to take it easy because you're really not allowed to admit that. But
Yeah, I'm
you know,
making an excuse. If he wanted to pull up a little bit, that's to I listen. If there all's well, it ends well, right? So if he did pull up a little bit at the end, to me that worked out fine. But I thought he looked a little gassed. But as you said, we'll never know what was in his mind and what was in his
yeah.
chest. Right, he was running out of gas at that point. But
I,
either
I
way, 2 carries, 109 yards at that point.
oh yeah, it's crazy, and I have so much time to watch all these different sports shows and everything, which is great. And I saw it watching the replay. Brees Hall is so different than Dalvin Cook. I mean, even the short runs that Brees Hall was making were like explosive and had potential. Michael Irving said Dalvin Cook needs to just sit on the bench. That's how good Brees Hall looked. But I mean, it's great to have two backs, and
Especially now, right? Especially now that they can take the pressure. I mean, that's a nice 1-2 punch to take a little pressure off of Zach.
yeah, and and Hall with his injury, recovering from his injury also.
Yep,
Let's see,
exactly.
let's see what this picks up here. Back to Buffalo on offense, close to the halftime. Yeah, I mean it's only one game, so we'll see how this all plays out. We're in the third quarter here.
Is this? Let me see if this is the play I think it was going to be. Nope, that was thinking of the.
Yeah, I mean, Zach has those passes one time. And we're like, wow, he's good, and sometimes he scrambles and throws the middle of the field. Like, what is he doing?
Exactly.
Yeah, this I'm telling you, man, this guy's incredible.
Agreed.
Between Brees Hall and Garrett Wilson, I mean, you know, Buffalo back offense. This is
Another
another
one
one
through
of his
right.
punt passes. Another one of his punt passes.
Bad decision. He's throwing the double coverage down there. Still a bad decision.
Yeah, we're in the fourth quarter now. That was just a good pick by Whitehead.
Yes, that was a great pick.
That's a
Yes.
good pick. We're like 9 minutes into the fourth quarter here. That was pretty good.
That was, yeah.
What happened there was looking at all the other plays. He saw Lazard open, and he wanted to get him the ball desperately. And as he was throwing it, somebody stepped on his ankle or his leg, and that's how whatever. So he just stayed with the play like he's nobody near him. He had to throw the ball. Jets got the ball. 6 minutes left. Still trailing 13-6. That was a better pass than people think it was. I was watching some quarterback X. They were saying basically that's where the ball needed to be thrown like that. I don't know how true it is, but it was a good pass. And this is the famous catch.
Yes. Now I had this debate with my son. I'm not sure if you did too, David. He was saying that, and I agree. That's 90% all Garrett Wilson with a phenomenal catch.
Yeah.
But give Zach a little bit of credit to put it in a position where Garrett Wilson can make a play on the ball. I'm not saying a little bit.
Yeah.
Little credit. I was telling we had this argument as soon as the play happened. My son and I saying, "Oh, it's all Garrett Wilson." I said, "Yes, it was all Garrett Wilson, maybe 90%, but there's still a little bit in there that at least give Zach a little credit. Put it in a position where Garrett Wilson can make a play on the ball."
Yeah, and now he knows going forward, he can just throw up any high ball that's a little bit out of range, and that can't be intercepted. That Garrett Wilson's gonna have a better chance in catching it.
Try and get the ball in a position where exactly what you just said, it can't be intercepted, and Garrett Wilson can make a play and try and make a play on the ball.
There's only a few receivers we know in our lifetime that can make catches like that. Like a Megatron, like a even Plexico Bubba's was good like that with the Giants. Yes. Of course Odell Beckham. Just throw in their general area, they're gonna come up with it. So that
right. The Jets did too about Altoon. Altoon was a little bit like that at times.
Yeah. He was a big, tall, lanky character.
Keyshawn too.
Yeah.
Amazing catch, though. Amazing.
The concentration and the ball
one hand. There it is.
Crazy.
It's just amazing. Yep, that's amazing. Looking at that again.
So now we got 13-13. And that was the fumble.
Big fumble. The fourth turnover, right?
Yeah. Like I said, it's only one game into the season, but Buffalo fans have to be concerned.
And this is also a big first down to keep the clock running, right?
Yeah, that was a great call. Yeah, that was ballsy.
Yeah, that was it. You had to do that one thing to end
And
the
now
game.
we're in overtime, and here comes the big play. And this was just insane.
I felt so good for this kid. Dave, did you watch? I talked a little bit last week. Did you watch Hard Knocks?
Yeah. Yep.
Remember how they had the whole thing with Xavier Gibson making the, making the run back and
Yeah.
making it
Yeah. Yeah.
so nice to
It's
see,
another great. It's
Hard
another great
Knocks.
storyline. Yeah.
Yes, it was. That was a great storyline for this game.
Yeah. So, like I said, it was just it was phenomenal. It's a phenomenal scene to be there. The fans are going crazy. I mean, the fireworks were going off.
I
Here's
saw
the
that.
replay. I mean, I didn't think he was going to score a touchdown, but I was like, all right, we're in field goal territory. I thought he was going to get maybe stopped before the goal line.
I thought the
So I was
same thing.
happy
Then
at
I
that.
thought, then I said he's just like
He
they said,
cut it in, and
he could go all the way, and then he sure enough.
yeah,
Now, what was the crowd, Dave? What was, you see it a little, you hear it on TV, but
yeah.
nothing
I don't,
better than being,
I had to.
how many Bills fans were in the crowd, percentage wise, would you say?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the attendance wise. I don't know, but it was every seat filled, and it was probably. I'm trying to think. There was some, not too many. Not. I know what you're saying. There's been games you go to where there's you know 30% or 40% Bills fans. I mean, I would say maybe 5 or 10%. They were there, but nothing
Okay, so
crazy.
that's
Like I
pretty
said,
small.
we've all seen games where like it looks like it's a home game for the other team, for the away team, you know. But
Especially with
people are
Buffalo,
pumped
because
up for
those
this.
fans they make on maybe because it was a Monday night, because I know on a Sunday they make the trip. I remember going to a Bill game a couple of years ago, and you know what their big chant is. I went to a few actually games over years ago from Buffalo, and the big chant they have, the anti-jet chair, is JETS, suck, suck, suck. So that's what I remember hearing that in the stadium ringing out a lot. But it seemed like there was obviously the Aaron Rodgers debut, so there was probably that, coupled with the fact that there was, this was a Monday night. If you live in Buffalo, you have to take off for Tuesday as opposed to, driving down to Sunday and going back to go to work on Monday. So that probably impacted it as well. But it's great to see all those fans leave happy after
It was good. I mean, it was like emotional. It was just really, man, I was spent emotionally. My throat was hurting next day from yelling so much. And I was like, wow, I just so glad I got to experience that as a Jet fan, But I know who knows what this rest of the season is going to be like, but that was great for me
Monday
to
night.
experience that.
No matter what happens, you always have Monday night.
Yeah, that was great. So anyway, what do you think now? We go in, the Dallas game. What's your opinion on that? And I'll give you my opinion as we wrap this up here. What do you think about what's going to happen? There's a lot of possibilities, but what do you think? What do you hope? What do you think the reality is?
I was trying to see what is the line in this game now, Dave. What line do you have in that
So
game?
I bet it. The line is I bet the 9.5 points.
Okay. This is what's funny. If there's a storybook ending, it's the Jets win the game. But realistically, what's
Right,
gonna
right.
I could see I could see Dallas looking for a letdown. I mean, Dallas had a big win last week,
Mhm,
40-0 over the Giants.
mhm,
They might be looking past the Jets. They might be looking at the Jets as laughing stock, as a joke that they're gonna run right over them.
mhm.
They could take them lightly. Um, I'm gonna say the Jets are gonna, I'm thinking there's gonna be, you have Dalvin Cook, you have Brees Hall, you're gonna have the 1-2 punch, you're gonna try to work the clock a little bit. You have a whole week to work. Think about it. Zach didn't take all the snaps in practice last
Right,
week.
right, right.
So the game plan is built around Zach Wilson being a starting quarterback. So I'm gonna keep my optimism going, Dave. I'm gonna say that the Jets are going to cover this game, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the Jets are gonna win.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Big
expect them.
upset.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't think that. I mean, I don't think they're going to lose by 10 points. I'm looking at the game a lot. So like everybody knows that the Cowboys are expecting the Jets to run the ball and not pass it. So that the offensive guys coordinator have to know that. Uh, I also think that the Jet defense is good enough not to allow Dallas to score too much. There could be turnovers. It could be an interesting game. Maybe hopefully they roll Zach out a little bit to give him more time to pass when they do have to pass. But yeah, I think regardless of what the outcome of this game is score wise, I need to know going forward, did the Jets lose by a last minute field goal? Were the Jets able to score 3 touchdowns with Zach Wilson? You know, depending on how this game turns out, we're going to have an idea like the season shot, or you know what? That wasn't so bad. We have a chance to beat some teams. So I'm looking at it more that way to see how they perform overall. So.
With that defense, I can't. I mean, I can't see him not being in the game unless Zach Wilson's going to. I don't want to be prophetic here and say he's going to throw 3 interceptions, 3 pick sixes, but we'll see.
Yeah,
I think that they
yeah,
have the court. They're going to know that they're going to have to really. Coach Sal's going to know they have to really have a controlled game plan in place. As you said, maybe take advantage early on that they're expecting to run, and maybe a couple of play actions early on, and a couple of, as you said, rollouts, a couple of design plays that fit into Zach's strengths. But we'll see. It's going to be. I'm excited for Sunday. I mean, I'm really looking forward.
yeah. That's one thing. Like regardless what happened on Monday, I'm still excited to see what the Jets are going to do with this team. There's no excuses for Zach Wilson. There's no excuses for anybody. The coaches. There's no excuses. Uh, if they perform bad. So we'll see how it turns out. We'll see. And then hopefully we can do this again next week. I'm still trying to figure out a schedule of who to talk to and when I get a chance to talk to him and how to go about all this. But I certainly appreciate your time and your Jet expertise, if you will.
Before we can I ask you one more question, Dave? How would you
Yes.
in your top 2 or 3? You mentioned this how exciting this game was past Monday night, and it was. I mean, even just home watching it, I was excited. Not
Yeah,
even.
yeah.
Where would you place this in your? If you had to list a couple of other great Jet experiences, what would you list those other Jet great experiences with, and where would you put that with those?
Yeah. I mean, this is number one, hands down. There's not even, there's not even another choice. I guess, for being at a game. Other than that, probably, I would probably have to go back to when the Jets beat Jacksonville and we're going to play Denver, for the AFC Championship game. I just had more confidence in that team winning than I did with any Sanchez team. So that was probably the most exciting time for me. And then, of course, Denver was the most disappointing time. But yeah, I would put it with that because I don't really pay much attention to this Mark Sanchez AFC Championship games because they really had trouble scoring touchdowns. I just didn't feel comfortable. Like they weren't dominating anybody. So Testaverde at least can throw the ball around. You had a great coach in Bill Parcells. I mean, so let's see what these Jets do. That's what I love about football. We're gonna find out real soon.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, Ed. Like I says, I'll be in touch and let's see how this plays out. Great chatting with you.
Same here, Dave. And that's hopefully the next chat we have is how happy is this one where we have a nice another win here. We'll see, but we'll see what happens.
Well, that's what's
we'll
gonna be good, but it's gonna be great for the next chat because we're gonna see exactly what went down and we don't really know. We don't know, like, is it going to be like a disaster? Is it going to be a close? We don't know what's going to happen. So, we'll have a much better field next week.
At least we have our guys saying that we don't want to look like the Giants losing 4-0 to these guys. So at least we have that too to say, listen,
yeah, that helps.
Play for.
That helps.
Yes,
that helps being a New York fan. So,
yep.
All right, Ed. Have a great night. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me again.
You got it. All right. Bye-bye.